Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Beware the Board, a horror podcast where we watch a randomly selected horror movie every single week. I'm Bob.
And I'm Ben.
Hey, Ben.
Heyo.
Oh, bro. What the fuck? You were just so excited. What happened?
I'm just tired.
You were like, but we were just doing a whole bit, and you were like, ugh, and now you're like, ugh. Come on now. We started recording, and you're going to bring your energy down, homie?
Well, see, this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Okay, and?
I gotta conserve my energy.
Also, this isn't a gas station. What are you talking about?
Dude, we're talking about phone service, not gas stations.
What a dumb bit to start the episode with. Oh,
All right.
wow.
Well,
Well-
on that fun note,
I hope whoever is listening thought that bit was funny, because that's the way we're starting.
you got any news this week?
Okay, can we talk about something else before we get to news?
Oh, I mean, I no.
Okay, I guess I won't then. Moving on to news.
I mean, you can if you want.
No, it's fine.
I
We don't have to
physically
talk
can't
about it.
stop you.
You physically could stop me. It would just be
Like,
very loud
yeah,
on the podcast.
Chuck my phone.
Okay, don't do that.
What were you
Anyway.
gonna say?
We'll move on.
Oh,
You didn't seem that interested, so I don't want to talk about it now.
I can tell the audience about this story you just told me.
Okay, you could do that, but I don't think you should.
all right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
In horror news, and this is just one that I literally just saw, and I did not write anything down other than the title because that's all that matters to me. Godzilla Minus One is now streaming on Netflix as of today. As they're recording this episode, Godzilla Minus One, the new Godzilla film that just came out a couple months ago.
Couple months, yeah.
It's on Netflix. Go watch it. I've heard it's fucking awesome.
Yup.
And also, I saw that in a couple weeks, the black and white version, Godzilla Minus One, or Godzilla Minus Color, is also going to be streaming on Netflix. So if you're interested, go check it out.
Oh, you know what's a slightly related fact,
What's up?
but definitely much cooler?
No way.
If you're into Godzilla Minus One and you want to see an applicable masterpiece, guess what they just added onto Shudder?
What?
Gorgo.
The fuck did you just say to me?
Gorgo.
Gorgo? The fuck is a Gorgo?
Imagine Godzilla, but if he had ears.
Godzilla with ears? And you said a masterpiece? Come on now.
I was being facetious.
Do you actually like Gorgo? I'm just asking.
I haven't seen it, but they did just add
You
it to
haven't
Shudder.
seen it? You're just fucking telling people.
It's on Shudder. They added like that, and they added the Toxic Avenger.
Oh,
They're like right
they added
next
the
to each
Toxic
other on
Avenger
the new
back? That's
page.
sweet. Does that mean the Joe? Well, no, the Joe episode was already on there.
No, it's already been on there.
Yeah, interesting.
Also, they also added the giant Gila monster as well.
Oh, don't know what that is.
It's a movie about a giant Gila monster
That's so helpful.
from 1959.
Oh, 1959. Okay. In actual news that I wrote stuff down about, not just me reading a headline going, that's pretty cool. Stephen King. Well, sorry. In
Hoagie
Stephen
Man.
King news. Yeah, Hoagie Man, as seen in Creepshow?
No, Hoagie Man's Night Riders.
Night Riders, you're right.
Who's he in Creepshow?
Oh.
Oh my God, what's his
We
name?
just watched that fucking movie.
the green guy.
Because the skit is called, like, the long death of something. Like, he's just died. It takes forever for him to die or something. But, anyway, in Stephen King news, they announced this week that the new prequel series to the 2017 It films has a 2025 release date.
He's Jordan Barrow.
Geordie Verrill,
Geordie
that's
Verrill.
what it was. I knew it was something. So it'll come out in 2025, the series, and Bill Skarsgård will be returning as Pennywise. The series is set in the 1960s and will show the events leading up to the first film and will show some of Pennywise's origin story, which is something that I'm excited about because that's a big aspect from the books that they didn't really touch on in the movie.
Yeah, but are they actually going to touch on book stuff?
I
Probably
hope
not.
so.
I
Well-
think when they say they're going to touch on Pennywise's backstory, they're going to be touching on the clown itself and not
What Pennywise is and where he
the
comes from.
Deadlights. Yeah.
See, that's stupid, though. I would love the Deadlight stuff. I think that's way cooler.
Yeah, but that's hard to adapt. And I think
Yeah, but I
people-
think that's why they're doing a series, right?
and people just want to see the clown. That's all people want.
Okay.
And also, you've never read It the book, right?
No, but I want to.
So the appearance of Pennywise the clown is based on clowns that were popular at the time
Mm-hmm.
for children. That's why he was an effective lure for children back in the 60s,
Okay.
50s. In fact, like how he's described in the book is Georgie like actually compares him to real like popular clown figures.
Wow, that's
like
actually
he's a
kind of
mix
cool.
of different stuff. Because remember, clowns used to not be scary to children.
Clowns are scary to me. We haven't done clowns yet. That's a cool category idea.
Yeah, it's not like there's ever been killer clowns
No,
from anywhere exciting either.
no, from
Like
nowhere
outer
cool.
space.
Yeah, that movie feels like it would gross me out. I don't know why.
What, killer clowns from outer space?
Yeah, I don't know why. That one like
no, we'd watch that movie and it'd become your new perfect movie. It would top Night of the Lepus.
really? You think so?
No, 100%. It's not even a competition.
Damn. Okay. While we're on it, we'll continue on the Bill Skarsgård news. How about that? 'Cause I have multiple.
He's finished doing the parts for Nosferatu, and he said it messed him up.
Okay, well, I was going to talk about that, but
Is
thanks
that
for
the
stealing
news
my
you're gonna share?
News, Ben.
I knew it was.
Because we talked about the Nosferatu remake on the podcast. It's being directed by director of The Witch, Robert Eggers. We've never discussed how to say his
Eggers?
last
Oh,
name.
we have. I brought it up, and I'm like, I don't know.
And you know what I said when you said that? I don't know.
Probably Eggers.
And yeah, basically, Bill Skarsgård came out. He's playing Nosferatu in the film, and he was like, "Yeah, that role messed me up." But also, he described it as sexy and scary all at the same time. But when I imagine Nosferatu, I don't think of sexy.
Well,
So I'm interested to see what it's gonna be like.
remember, Nosferatu is non-copyright infringement Dracula
Yeah.
from the weird German expressionism horror movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's still that byline of during the day he's like this sexy dude, and then at night he's that creepy vampire thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's Count Orlok.
Yes, that's his name.
So assumedly they're doing the same thing in the remake. So during half the scenes he's like
Hot.
essentially. Well, I was gonna say like how Dracula is in
Yeah.
like the book or the plays or in Dracula the movie we watched, and then when he's not doing that, he's a freak.
Yeah. That's all for that one. I'm excited about that because we haven't seen Nosferatu, but I like Robert Eggers. I'm gonna say Eggers. I'm gonna
He
say
makes
that's how you
good
say it.
movies,
He does make good movies, and the only one we've seen is The Witch, and I really like that film, so I'm excited about this one.
especially because he's super passionate about it.
Yep, he's very, very excited about this, and so am I. Okay, this might be my favorite piece of news I've ever shared with you on the podcast because I won. That's all. I'm gonna start with I won. I win. Okay, we all know I love The Exorcist. It's one of my favorite movies ever. We all know I have a personal beef with the director of The Exorcist Believer, David Gordon Green.
Did he die? Is that why you?
No,
live?
he's not dead, Ben. I wouldn't wish that upon him. I want him to suffer.
I'm not sure if that's better.
But we have been saved. Our Savior is upon us. David Gordon Green, like we previously talked about on the podcast, basically stepped away from the Exorcist trilogy he was planning on working for Blumhouse. He's not doing it anymore. They were trying to find a new director. Blumhouse has announced that Mike Flanagan is slated to direct all future Exorcist projects with them, and that the next Exorcist film will not be a sequel to the Green's films, but an entirely new story in the Exorcist universe. Flanagan is known for directing Hush, The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor, Doctor Sleep, and Midnight Mass. I fucking love Mike Flanagan. He is one of my favorite horror directors ever. I've not seen any of his movies. I've only seen his TV shows. But Midnight Mass is my favorite horror show ever. I love that show so much. And I'm so excited to see Mike Flanagan work on this IP.
I will say he does some good stuff.
He's so good. I love Mike Flanagan. He's one of my favorite people.
He is also though associated with some not great stuff.
Well, I don't know what I just wrote down the stuff I was excited about.
I mean, that's fair, I guess.
But I'm really, really excited
But-
to see what he does.
It's my way of saying he's made a very, very bad film before for Blumhouse
Ooh.
called Ouija.
Oh, he made that? I didn't know that was him.
Yep.
When did that come out?
2016.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, one stinker in a pile of other really good stuff.
Other people liked it.
Oh, so it's just a you problem.
No, it's not a good movie.
Okay.
It's better than Tarot.
Oh, I've heard that movie's bad.
It's the same formula, but
Yeah.
much worse execution.
Trent and his girlfriend, I guess fiance now, and our friend, you remember Andy? They all went and saw it in theaters, and Trent texted me and said, that movie fucking blows. He was so upset after. He was like, what a waste of time.
These are Bob's friends.
Yeah, well, okay, they're your friends too, Ben.
I mean, yeah, but
Vaguely.
vaguely.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, I'm just really excited about the Exorcist stuff. When I read that news,
Don't get your hopes up again,
No, Ben, my hopes are up here, bro.
That Bob, that's a bad place for them to be.
I don't
if,
care.
If you can't tell, he put his hand way above his head.
Yeah.
I know you couldn't see that, guys, but
So several feet in the air, considering I'm 6'11".
like 2 feet in the air at least.
Because I'm taller than Ben.
He's short. Bob's like half a person.
Whoa, 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 whoa. No.
Specifically half of me. 'Cause that's how short he is.
Okay.
All right.
Podcast part of the podcast?
Unless you wanted to tell me that thing you were going to tell me. Was it important?
Oh, I mean, no. I just wanted to, like, do a whole bit, like, it's not a bit. I wanted to, like, take a second and be like, hey, thank you, audience, for watching our content and, like, supporting us, because we're doing surprisingly well right now.
Oh, yeah.
We've been getting a lot of subscribers. We've been getting a ton of views on YouTube. Well, a lot more than we were. And, like, we appreciate the support.
I'm not sure what happened,
I'm not either, but I, like, thank you guys.
but thanks for checking out this shitty little thing we do in our free
Yeah,
time.
like, we do this for fun in our free time. I work 2 jobs and this. So it's like 3 jobs.
Bob regularly wants to kill himself, and this is kind of one of the reasons he doesn't. So,
Yeah, so we appreciate it. That's all I was going to do. But then, like, you took the wind out of my sails, and I was like, let's move on.
oh, that's fair. All right.
Anyway,
Podcast.
podcast time.
Got a 1-3-2 situation.
132?
Yes. Hear me out. We could just knock Cabin in the Woods out of the ballpark. Just finish it off.
I don't know. I'm kind of tempted, but also I'm surprisingly excited about my category now after watching The Ritual. Because, like, that was a film that I hadn't thought about being on there, but it was really good, and I liked it. And I kind of want to save Cabin in the Woods till the last one till later, because I'll be honest, I think I know what it is, because if it's not that, you are fucking trolling me.
I don't think you know.
Okay.
I don't think you know.
You can think that all you want, but I'm almost positive I know.
think you know.
That would be crazy.
But you
because
don't-
I don't know what else you would put there.
You don't really know.
We'll see.
There's some surprises.
So I'm not going to choose Cabin in the Woods. I'm sorry, Ben. I'm so sorry. I'm going to choose Colts. What did I choose last time?
Looks like 3.
Oh, the last category for the season is remakes, by the way. We can talk about that one. It's remakes of movies we've already seen on the podcast.
I think we're just saving that till the last 3
Yeah, I'm saving it
spots.
for the last 3. We've talked about this multiple times.
It'll be cool.
But that's the thing is, like, all those movies will be very different, so putting them... Because, like...
And potentially real bad.
and potentially really bad, because sometimes remakes suck. But, like...
Green Inferno.
You can't do that.
I
We
can't.
talked about this last episode. You literally can't do that. That feels illegal. It's in the rules, Ben.
The rules.
The rules. Anyway, yeah, I'm choosing. You said I have 1 and 3.
1
Or-
and 2.
1 and 2. 2. Fuck it, we ball 2. What's in 2?
You sure?
I hate when you do that because it makes.
No.
I'm such an indecisive person, and the fact that I have
You
to
never
make a
change
choice
your
once a
mind.
week. Well, I'm not going to.
See?
You're right. Okay, what's in this one?
Today we are watching The Apostle from 2018.
No, I've never. I love when we watch a film I've never even heard of.
I think I told you at the beginning of the season. I don't think you were expecting anything from this category
No, I have no idea.
that's going to show up. So
That's awesome.
it's a bit of a rescue mission.
Okay,
That's it.
that's the description.
Yeah. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes long.
Oh shit.
It's rated TVMA.
Okay. I know what that probably means.
Yeah. Go figure. IMDb gave it a 6.3 out of 10.
Okay.
Tomato score 79%.
Hey yo.
Audience score 54%.
Okay.
For awards, it has 1 win and 8 nominations.
More than I expected.
Notable actors: Dan Stevens as Thomas Richardson. Does that name sound familiar?
No.
He was Beast in the live-action version of Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, okay.
Not to be confused with Beast from The Hills Have Eyes.
Who was a dog?
Was a dog and is definitely dead. Michael Sheen as Malcolm Howe.
Who's that? That name is familiar.
Well, Michael Sheen's very famous.
Yeah, I know. That's why
He played Aziraphale. I think that's how you say that. From Good Omens on 12 episodes between 2019 and 2023.
haven't seen it.
Aziraphale? I think that's how it is. Anyways,
I don't know.
Mark Lewis Jones as Quinn. He was Captain Kennedy in Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
8 sucks.
All the new ones suck.
No, the first one's good.
It sucks.
Don't you
It
start arguing
sucks.
with me. I like the first one.
It's a bad movie.
I don't care. No, 7's good.
No.
Why isn't 7 good?
It's just
If you hit me with the fucking, don't say it.
it's just
I'll jump across this table
it's
and
just
strangle it.
episode
I'll
4.
kill you.
It's just a worse version of episode 4.
It's not a worse version of
and
episode
everyone
4.
likes it because A, it's better than 8 and 9
It
by a
a
shit
lot.
ton.
Yep.
And nostalgia. That's
Okay.
it. That's all there is to it. Nothing else.
Sure.
It's just a shittier version of episode 4.
I'm not going to sit there and argue with you on the podcast. But you're wrong.
That is the point of the podcast, but sure. Paul Higgins as Frank.
Okay.
He was Jamie McDonald in the Loop.
I don't know any of this stuff.
Lucy Boyden as Andrea Howe. She was Rafina in Sing Street. Bill Milner as Jeremy. He was Will Proudfoot in Son of Rambo.
I haven't seen any of the Rambo films.
Well, that's great because this isn't a Rambo film.
oh, it's not even related.
No.
Okay.
Of course not. This is Son of Rambo.
Oh, completely distinct property of
Well,
Rambo.
it's about an English kid who's like really into Rambo, and so him and his friend are trying to make like a fake Rambo film
That's awesome.
about the son of Rambo.
That sounds like a
And
great
just
time.
being very, very unsafe about it.
Sweet.
It looks like something you would do while being unsupervised as a child, if that gives you a good picture.
Oh,
of it.
hell yeah.
Keep in mind, everyone, that Bob is from the Deep South, so
I wouldn't say the Deep South.
the Deep South.
No. Look, I don't live that far from here.
Christine Froseth as Theon. She was Veronica, and Sierra Burgess is a loser. And then Ellen Rise as Jennifer Richardson. She was Petra in The Bastard Executioner. She was on 10 episodes in 2015. All right. Writer and director Gareth Evans. He also directed The Raid 2.
Oh, isn't that like a French? Am I losing my mind? I feel like there's a movie called that. It's like a French movie about like a SWAT team or something. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay. Maybe I'm losing my mind. I'm probably just stupid. Per usual.
I mean, I just don't know. I haven't seen The Raid, let alone The Raid 2.
The Raid 2, yeah.
Budget's unknown. Box office is unknown.
Damn.
It's a streaming movie.
Okay.
Country of origin, United States and United Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
So, kind of a mix. Tagline. Your God can't help you.
Hell. See, this is what I want from cult movies, bro. Come on now. It's going to be sweet.
All right. So, don't really have much about this film because, again, streaming movie. Not a lot's available or is super interesting. But filming for this film started in April 2017, and it was apparently largely shot on sets built in and around Margrim Park and Neathport Talbot, Wales.
Oh, it's filmed in Wales. That's
It's
sweet.
a Welsh film. That's it.
Okay. Nothing else?
Nope.
I'm actually really excited about this one because it feels the most culty so far out of the category. Like, it's called The Apostle. The tagline is, your God will not save you. Come on now. This is going to be fucking rad.
I don't know. Objectively, I think The Ritual.
Well, that too. But, like, this one feels like the cult is going to be more... Like, the cult is important in The Ritual, but it's not, like, the forefront of the film. This feels like the cult is going to be the forefront, and that's what I want out of this category, so I'm excited.
That's fair, I guess.
Okay. Well, on that, we'll see you guys after the movie. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We just finished watching Apostle.
Yep.
Yeah, we did. We finished the movie. It's
Yeah.
over now.
It was very long.
It was very long.
Yeah. That's why I was dreading you choosing this
Really?
category.
Damn. I mean,
Because this movie's long.
oh, that's probably long too if you were dreading it, honestly.
Other ones long.
Yeah.
Most of the remakes are long.
Man, we're in for a long season.
Yeah.
It's the same amount of time as any other season, actually.
Yeah, pretty
Because
much.
they're the same.
It's
of
still
episodes.
9 weeks.
Yeah. Anyway, it's 10. Come on now.
Plus the
wrap
wrap up. The wrap up is kind of an interim episode for both seasons.
Well, it's not an intro episode. It's an outro episode for the previous season, an intro for the new season.
See.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyway.
what you think? Do you like it?
Yeah,
Dislike it?
I liked it. There were things that you left out that we'll probably talk
Oh,
about.
I left tons of stuff
You
out.
left tons of stuff out. I would say it's not what I expected, to be honest. I was expecting more like creepy, scary. This movie is not scary in the traditional sense. But it is still a horror movie. And I didn't think that about halfway through, and then something happened. And I went, "Oh my god, this movie is definitely a horror movie."
Well, we almost needed a trash can.
Yeah,
I debated saying, Bob, go get the trash can before we started recording.
I'm glad you didn't because it left it more of a surprise for me when this scene happened.
But I wanted this movie to be a big surprise. Which, as always, go watch this movie blind.
Yeah, if you have Netflix and you want to sit down for a 2-hour movie, check it out.
2 hours, 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah, you're right. 10 minutes
A
is
little bit
important.
longer. Yeah, it's on Netflix. So, I know most people have Netflix, or most people totally have Netflix through a close family member in the same household.
Yes,
Uh,
like me and my sister.
yeah. And I'm glad you still live with your sister as what, a 23-year-old mom.
Yeah, she's just in the other room.
Which one?
Any of them.
Oh, okay.
There are multiple rooms in my house. I don't have a two-room house.
I meant which sister, but sure.
Oh.
It's the eldest one.
No.
Anyways,
Well, I hope she didn't hear that.
it's basically free because I'm sure most of you have Netflix, and I
Yeah.
do think it's worth a watch. It's a
Mhm.
nice movie. Lots of good acting, stuff like that. But check it out as blind as you can. I do think it's a fun movie to be surprised by, and the less you know about it, the better. And I really did struggle to find a description that was still descriptive of this movie without
Mhm.
spoiling anything. And I
Yeah.
think just going, it's a rescue mission, does that
Yeah.
fairly well, because that is the incitingest incident for
Yeah.
the whole movie. With that being said, I'm going to do a quick description here, and my quick description's going to spoil some stuff about what this film's about. So heads up there. So if you don't want anything spoiled, leave now. But after that, we'll get into the actual discussion
Yeah.
and get into some real big spoilers. With that being said, as I said previously, this is a rescue film. It's about a brother who's going to retrieve his sister from a cult on this remote island somewhere in the UK. I'd assume it's Wales or something
I would assume.
because it's filmed in Wales, but who knows? Some island in the UK. And his sister has been kidnapped and taken explicitly for ransom.
Yep.
Which they've sent a ransom note to their dad.
Mhm.
And the dad is not in the head anymore.
Yeah.
I think it's implied potentially that he could have some degenerative mental illness,
Yeah, I think
kind of
he's
like Alzheimer's,
Mhm.
or otherwise grief, I think
Yeah.
is the big thing. Because it's implied that he thought both of his children were dead. So, combo, who knows? In either case, instead of taking the ransom, because they're pretty sure they'll just kill his sister,
Yep.
and then probably him, their whole plan is to send him in, covertly, and he'll rescue her, instead of, retrieving the sister for the ransom or whatever.
Man, that's crazy that's the plot and description you're giving of this film, and so much other stuff happens.
So much other stuff happens, and I'll give you a little tidbit here. Right off the bat, things you need to know, this movie's set in 1908,
Oh, it's so cool.
so this is a period piece. It's well done. And second of all, it's a weird cult on an island in the UK, so if that doesn't tip you off that this is maybe a folk horror film, it should now.
Yeah.
And they combine all that stuff to, I think, a really excellent degree. That being said, we're going to talk about the movie now. So, spoilers ahead.
Yeah.
We're going to really not spoil the ending or anything, but we'll probably go pretty in-depth with some things.
Yeah.
As we have to. All right, right off the bat, is there anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, I really like the fact that this film tackles the cult in a okay, so when I think of a movie about cults, right, I'm going to preface what I'm about to say with this information. I think of a cult that is innately evil or doing bad stuff to do bad things. This one, the cult really isn't that bad. It's the people in the cult that suck. The when you think of a cult, it's we worship a demon that's evil and does bad things. But this one, it's no, these people just kind of suck, and they're using the cult as an excuse to do bad things.
Yeah,
And I think that's very interesting.
I mean, to be honest, I think it's a pretty realistic interpretation of a cult.
Yeah, for sure.
So a lot of cults, how they tend to work is you'll have a couple people who are in charge, right? And they are promising a lot of people down on their luck a better life or
Mhm.
happiness or something like that. And really where cults tend to get their bad connotation from is usually they're not mainstream religion, so that's obviously a thing. But
Mm-hmm.
primarily from the fact that those people in charge will either from the get-go or over time become corrupted and take advantage of members of their cults,
Mm-hmm.
physically, monetarily, stuff like that. And that's essentially what's happening here. A lot of the people, so it's an island, and they've set up like a little village there. And the whole idea, like what these people are promised, is they come to this village, and it's supposed to be kind of like this utopian style setup.
Mm-hmm.
It very much reads as a lot of the promises that pilgrims had before they traveled to America. of
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
hey, we're all going to worship the same religion, but outside of that, we're going to be like a nice, peaceful community, and we're going to share with each other. Everyone's going to be free of suffering. And so, at its heart, that's like a good message. The issue is that, well, it's twofold. A, there's 3 leaders of the island, Frank, Malcolm, and Quinn, and one of them might not be a great person.
One of them really sucks.
Now, I'm not sure how great all of them are, because as we learn, they were death row inmates
Yep.
that escaped from death row for treason. So
But it's treason from England in 1906, so what could they,
it's unclear what they did, but
Yeah.
it could have been really, really bad.
or it could have been something pretty innocuous.
In either case, one of them is extra bad,
Yeah.
like very clearly psychopathic.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're in control, things about the island aren't great.
Yeah.
Plus, that whole kidnapping thing that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's because there's some extra stress on the Colts and stuff right at this point in time. Things
Yeah.
are going wrong, which we'll get into in a second. But the other thing that's really not checking out is there's some weird, we'll call it religious stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe some sacrificial stuff. That's not explicitly harmful, but is
No.
odd.
But what's cool about like all of this stuff being not explicitly evil or like bad is it adds a weird moral gray area to the whole cult aspect of the film, because all of the stuff that they're doing that is bad is for the greater good of the people on the island. You know what I mean? Like in a lot of the cases, they're doing it because they have to, not because they want to. It adds depths and layers to something that I expected to be very cut and dry.
That's fair. At least for me, it makes it feel like an actual religious setup.
Yes, for
Like
sure.
An actual settlement that you'd expect to see in a, maybe not necessarily 1908, but maybe the 1700s.
Mhm. That's
again,
exactly how I felt.
they're very removed from society, and except for a few like items here that are
Mhm.
more reminiscent of 1908, like lighters, it feels much older.
And like medication and like doctor stuff.
But for me, honestly, picking this more realistic kind of gray area for the cult, I think really helps to make most of the islanders stand out as just people who happen to be wrapped up and potentially taken advantage of from this whole situation. Because it's very clear no one else on the island except for these 3 people know about the kidnapping
Nope.
or stuff
They
like that.
are under the impression that they just live here and are taken care of.
In fact, I think there's a really interesting scene that, like, right at the beginning of the movie, obviously we're watching our main character. I haven't mentioned his name. Thomas Richardson.
You got it
Right?
right. Nice job.
Sweet. They only say it like once in the movie.
They don't say his name a lot.
So that is impressive. We get to watch Thomas sneak up onto the island, which is
Mhm.
fairly hard to do because you have to get there by boat, and it's a controlled boat by, I think Frank runs
yeah,
it.
Frank owns the boat.
And point being is when they arrive on the island, they do a checkup, like the doctor in quotation marks, checks them for lice in their teeth and everything. And then they'll have like a census thing where they ask like, what are your jobs? Have you committed crimes and stuff? I think there's a really nice touching moment that really humanizes most of the people on the island, where we see a woman arrive there, and it's very clear like her husband and like her daughter are already there,
Mm-hmm.
and she's just arriving. So she greets her daughter, and then she's asked like, what are your crimes? And she's like very nervous. She's like, vagrancy. I don't know. It's this very nice moment of like, oh, this person is coming here for like hopeful reasons
Mm-hmm.
because life has not been good to her.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it helps add to the moral gray aspect of like they're doing this because they want to help these people, but maybe the stuff they're doing isn't so great.
Yeah. I think we can wait a minute on some of the culty stuff. And by culty stuff, I mean the magic kind of elements of this film.
Mhm. Sure.
And talk about something else that I think is really well done, which is the period stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Right off the bat, besides like the setting and stuff, I think the first thing you notice, especially after a little bit, is the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
It's fairly period. I'm not sure how period accurate it is.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really know a lot about the speech of the time to really know. But it feels like how I want it to for a film like this.
But it feels like it is fairly accurate for 1908. I've read a bunch of books from like the 1920s, 1930s, late 1800s, and it's a very similar word choice and everything. I will say it's fairly understandable.
Mhm.
Like, you forget it's there after a while.
I really didn't like
Um,
find any difficulty understanding any of the dialogue or anything like that.
but just kind of like in The Witch, it adds a nice little undertone of dramatization
Mm-hmm.
and really makes the religious undertones of this whole movie, I think, hit home more.
Yeah, and they have to because of it's a movie about a cult, and the cult's religion is super important.
Yep.
So it has to hit home, or else the film doesn't work.
Aside from that, obviously, all the clothes are really good.
Oh yeah, the clothing is really nice.
Most of the set is on this village, so it's functionally speaking an older set than 1908, which you'd normally expect, but
yeah,
that also looks really good. And then they throw in a couple little tools and stuff like lighters and medicine bottles. There are a couple scenes in the city, and those look really great. We see a train.
yeah.
Looks like the Hogwarts Express. Might have been. I don't know.
I don't know either. There's also like guns and stuff from like the late 1800s, early 1900s.
And they are just as accurate as you would expect.
It's so funny. But also, the fact that they are separated from society means that we get some interesting stuff like no electricity because they're on an island, which is something that was cool when I first started the film. Because like, oh, we're in a city, there's power. Like, this is interesting. And then we instantly get away from all that. And I think that's cool because it makes the folk horror aspects of the film work a lot better because we're in an environment that is more appropriate, I guess, for something like this.
Yeah.
And also, like, there's interesting stuff like only certain people have guns because ammo is expensive and guns are expensive. So everyone else has, like, spears and shit.
And also, most of the people with guns are like really high up in the pecking order.
Yeah, so it's like a power thing.
I don't know. I thought all that setting stuff was really cool.
No, I did too. I think it adds a lot
But
because it's interesting.
I think all of this leads into the whole like magic stuff of this movie,
You
right?
can go there if you want.
I don't want to get too much into it
I think it's super cool.
because I think it's really cool, and a lot of it is a very gradual reveal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't want to get like too insane with spoiling stuff because learning about it is the ending of this film.
Mhm.
But essentially, on this island, they worship. They call her like her, but it's like a goddess.
Yeah, they don't ever give her a name, do they?
No, I don't think so.
That's kind of interesting. And it makes sense, too, given the context.
Yeah, fair enough. And while we're never explicitly told what's happening, we are shown it.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, she's given blood sacrifices. Like, we see people being drained. And the idea is that by giving her sacrifices, she'll bring life to the island.
Yeah.
Like, make the crops grow, have plentiful harvest, stuff like that. It's very classic,
Like pagan stuff, right?
what people assume, yeah.
Yeah.
And the big issue in the film, and the reason that kicked off like the kidnapping and everything, is that the last, I don't know, probably year or so, I'd
Mhm.
guess, has been like failed.
Yep.
But not normal like failed harvest. Like things are going
Really
horrifically
bad.
wrong.
I mean, one of the most poignant scenes in the entire movie is an example of that.
I was gonna say there's a couple, but I think the one you're referring to is we watch a birthing process
Yes, this one's really. I like this
for
scene a
a
lot.
sheep, and we watch them pull a lamb out of this sheep, and it has like open sores on its body that are revealing like its organs and stuff while
Yeah.
it's still alive. Like it's dying as they pull it out. It's probably a little premature too,
Mm-hmm.
and it's to emphasize the fact that like that's what's happening to all the things
Yep.
that are being born on the island right now. And then later they show like the crops and they're
Yeah.
dried and dead, and I think they pull out some of the grain and they show that it's what, like poisoned.
Yeah, because they have access to like not modern medicine, but like early 1800s, 1900s medicine. So a person who is assumedly trained medically like pulls out some of the crops and like puts it in this and goes, yeah, this is completely poisoned, and like
It like
uses
fizzles.
yeah, it like does something that food should not do.
It's like black and steaming and fizzling, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh no,
Don't eat that.
That is like acid. And yeah, like I said, it's a pretty classic like I think what people associate with like pagan rituals of
Mhm.
like blood sacrifices to get better crops and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really cool, and I think like having the hook of like things are failing, why, is a really cool way to do some reveals.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Because like, assumedly up to this point, everything was going okay. Like they were giving her blood, and everything was working out up until now.
Yeah, and I mean it's implied that they had to give more and more sacrifices and
Mhm.
stuff like that. But yeah, the film leaves it open to interpretation, at least at the beginning of like, well, maybe someone is being like blasphemous,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe someone's doing something wrong, like they're just not giving enough.
Yep.
Or maybe the population of the island's gotten too big. But I think it's really cool. We do eventually get to like see glimpses of the woman.
Yeah.
Not a lot. I'll mention it now. There's her, and then there's this other thing.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to get too much into it, but I did want to share my thoughts on those things really briefly.
Sure.
First of all, the other thing,
So cool.
so cool.
One of the coolest, like, I don't want to call him a creature, but he is kind of a creature.
He's like a dude, and there's something, let's say, fused to his head.
Yeah. Oh, you know what he reminds me of? And I don't know if this is an apt
Oh,
comparison.
I was going to say something, but go ahead.
The Pyramid Heads from Silent Hill.
Ooh, that's not what I was going to say, but that's good. I was going to pull folklore from like the UK and stuff.
Oh.
He reminds me of a red cap.
Oh, like the little dudes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the big giants that are
Yep.
really obsessed with blood and stuff.
Yeah, and they like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's
Because
cool.
he's like the keeper for the lady. And the only thing I'm going to say about her is it's implied that she has some backstory with the island.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got this read from it, but the read I got is she's very, very old.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was there before this village was there.
Oh, yeah, she was there before
Um,
anyone showed up.
And my assumption is she was like a holy figure to probably some Celtic colony that was
Oh,
on the island
probably.
that died out, and she was left all alone, only to be found and then worshipped anew.
Yeah, because they eventually find like cave paintings and stuff that like explain how to like, I don't know, harness her power to like grow crops and stuff.
Yeah, although those cave paintings look like they might be from the Romans. Maybe.
I don't know.
That's the read I got on it, which would explain maybe what happened to the
Colony,
people who had
yeah.
been there. I will say, I don't necessarily think she was a goddess so much as I think she's like a high priestess kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
where you are like the avatar.
I mean, I was thinking more something like nature spirit-y.
Well, kind of like in the idea that like the nature spirit lives through you.
Yeah, yeah,
Kinda
that works.
stuff.
Yeah, sure.
I just wanted to mention that. Again, I don't want to get too much into it because it's very wrapped up in the ending.
It is very wrapped up in the ending, but it's very cool.
But it is very cool. It is very much a show don't tell kind of thing
Mhm.
because, to be honest, there's not a lot of like active dialogue or explanations in this film.
No, but I like that aspect because if it were to just tell us, it's not as poignant and powerful. Like it while I was gonna complain about this, but I'm kind of changing my mind in the moment. Getting more like succinct explanations for stuff would be cool. I don't think it works with the film because a lot of this movie is about the mystery of what's going on. And if it were to just explain it to you, you lose a lot of impact.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that fits really well with not only the folk horror vibe, but also just the whole cult aspect. I
Mhm.
mean, a big thing with cults sometimes is like the fact that information's controlled,
Yeah.
and that really does fit the tone of this film. But that being said, it's a pretty decent folk horror film.
It's cool.
I mean, all the fantasy elements are folk horror related.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, the throwback to like, there's a quote unquote pagan religion here that's been forgotten,
Yeah.
but it's been refound by these people from the outside world, and
And they keep messing it up.
keep practicing it. They brought it back, and then we have this other stranger who comes in and disrupts stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, pretty classic. Plus, again, I know our review of this movie hasn't come out yet. It kind of sucks that we keep referencing folk horror stuff, but the way
That's so funny.
the cult elements of this film work, where you have like someone in power manipulating like enforcers to control the people with
Mhm.
religion, to me feels very reminiscent of Witchfinder General,
Oh, you're so right.
which again, we haven't reviewed it.
Well,
That-
we have reviewed it. We just haven't released it.
Well, we haven't released it, but for anyone who's wondering, Witchfinder General is about a witchfinder from England, one of the most notorious. I think he's from what, like the 14 the 1600s, something like that.
Yeah, something like
During
that.
one of the English civil wars. He killed more people than any other like English witchfinder in history.
He was crazy.
He was crazy, but he essentially used religion to empower himself to spread fear and
Mhm.
like pain.
and murder people.
And you kind of get the same feeling from, not going to name any names, but remember how I said one of the people in charge is a little bit,
Of a fucking crazy person.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing very similar things. And I thought the film does a really good job of capturing that,
No, yeah, it does.
including some very antiquated ways of killing people,
Okay.
which is
You
a
could say that.
fun transition into, there's some decent blood in this film.
Decent, brother. There's a lot.
So, okay, it's one of those films where it's not necessarily gory. There isn't a lot of gore and viscera, but there's a lot of blood.
Ben,
A lot of blood.
I don't want to spoil something. There just happens to be a river filled with chunks of people.
Yeah, but it's mostly blood. And besides, like, there is some chunkage, but it's not a real focus. When I say gore, I mean we're not seeing, like, people torn apart for the most part. For the most part, anything that would imply that is off-screen and, again, implied. Like, it's not... I'm trying to think of a good example of a film we've watched, but I'm blanking. But we're not seeing, like, people get their organs pulled out of them.
That's fair. We're not, yeah.
Like, there's a lot of blood, but I feel like the film feels a lot more impactful with, like, the violence
Mm-hmm.
because of when it's set.
I
Like,
guess that's fair.
This is 1908, so you know anytime someone gets injured, it's a big deal.
Oh, for sure.
And the film establishes that pretty early on with our main character gets slashed, and we get to see that, like, it's a very deep slash wound,
Mhm.
but how serious everyone treats it. And so, honestly, I don't think this film is anywhere near as gory as, like, Friday the 13th, but because of the tone it takes with the violence, which is very tense and very drawn out, it feels very impactful in the way something that was really gory would.
Okay. Okay. No, I see what you mean now. I understand what you're getting at.
With that being said, some of the violent aspects of this film are
Oh, it's fucking brutal.
brutal.
It's
That's the thing.
like actually fucking crazy.
There's some really cruel stuff that happens.
This is what I was talking about when I said I didn't think this was a horror movie. And then it gets near the end and you start seeing people just get fucking annihilated.
Like, if you're into horror, it's not going to be anything new, but it's the way they do it that makes it impactful.
It is in a very different way horrifying than something like, I don't know, The Exorcist, which is scary because of the vibe and like that's something I wanted to talk about. Holy shit. I reminded
Before you move
myself.
on, though, I will say, remember how I said it takes the setting to
Yeah.
make the gore more impactful? Good example of another film that does that is The Witch,
Oh, yeah.
where it's like not super gory, but some of those violent scenes
Mm-hmm.
feel much worse than they are because you're like, oh, he's got a rusty paper gun. He's going to die. What were you saying for The Exorcist?
So, this is something I want to talk about. A lot of the time when we watch a folk horror film like this, it is about the vibes and the atmosphere and the environment that makes it so, like, poignant and impactful. This film takes a very different approach because this film has good ambiance and stuff, but it's not about that. It's about how absolutely agonizingly brutal the violence is and how, like, it feels almost like, okay, have you seen Princess Mononoke, the Studio Ghibli film?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
It's been a while. It's not. I watched a lot of Studio Ghibli growing up, but I owned a very specific subset of films.
Okay. It reminds me of that in a lot of ways, of like there is a encroaching sort of modernization of the environment, and the environment is sort of like fighting back in a certain way. It reminds me of that. Like, it's so, the environment is not directly killing these people, but, you know, the goddess is in control of that, and she's the one poisoning them and doing bad things.
There's a clash between the green and people.
And the people are, like, killed in the most brutal, horrifying ways, and that's what makes it impactful.
It's a reflection of nature.
It is, and it's super cool, and that's what I really like about this film in comparison to something like The Witch, where it's like, yeah, not a lot of horrible violent stuff happens, but it's about how creepy and scary it is. This film is not creepy scary. This film is fucking gnarly.
It is. There's some. gnarly scenes because like they make you watch them.
Yeah, they really do.
They show less than you'd expect though.
That's fair. I thought it was going to be way worse.
They were
in the
tastful
moment.
with it.
Yeah, they
Well,
were.
as tasteful as this could be. It's not for the faint of heart. This definitely earned its TVMA rating, which for those who are wondering, that's what, an R essentially,
Yeah,
or worse. I don't think TV ratings go worse than TVMA.
I think TVMA is the highest. Yeah.
I think the last thing I want to talk about. Oh, besides all the actors are great.
Oh, it's so well acted.
I think the person who plays the main character Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
and then the person who plays Malcolm, both of them are famous.
Yes,
Obviously. Who did I say Thomas was? He's
Dan Stevens.
Dan Stevens. The example I gave for him was he's Beast in Beauty and the Beast, like the
Mhm.
live action one, which pretty big role. I think
Yeah.
most people are familiar with that. But he was also on Downton Abbey for like most of it, if not all of it. I don't know. I never watched that show.
I never watched it either.
But I was looking stuff up, and I think he was on like 5 or 7 years worth of episodes.
Damn.
I think he does a great job. And then the guy who plays Malcolm is obviously
Michael Sheen.
Michael Sheen, and he's very famous.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them carry the film.
Yeah.
'Cause they definitely have the most character development
They also get the most screen time.
and the most screen time, and I think it's great. Not that the rest of the cast isn't
Mm.
good.
No, they're all very good.
It's just difference in screen time. What I will say here, though, and the point I was going to make, is Thomas has his own internal kind of battle going on.
Yeah.
It has to do with his backstory. Suffice it to say, when the film opens, he looks like he's been through hell.
He looks like he has seen some shit.
And a lot of the film is not only just him trying to help his sister, but watching him have to better himself in order to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is just like destroyed.
I mean, I think we can talk about it. He has a really, really bad addiction problem.
Yeah, I mean, because of what's happened to him.
Yes.
I don't want to get into what's
Do you
happened
not want
to
to talk
him.
about that? Because I think that's so cool. Because I think it ties really well into the whole like cult aspect of the film.
Why not? Go ahead.
Okay. While we're on the topic of him, I think what's so cool and why I actually really love the name of the film, which I'll get to maybe later. I don't know if
Maybe.
we want to talk about
Probably
that
leave it out.
specifically. Probably leave that out. But it's cool. We learn that Thomas was a very devout Christian. Like super, super devout.
Not just a devout Christian. He was a
like a missionary.
missionary. He was a priest.
Yeah.
So he had a flock and everything.
And it's like slowly revealed through his like religious trauma and everything that he basically lost his faith completely and utterly and like no longer believes in any sort of deity. So when the cult aspect of the film comes up and they're like talking about her, he's very like, I don't know, he kind of shits on it for real. He's like, yeah, I don't fucking care. Like, doesn't matter. She'll leave you just like God left me. Like, fuck off.
Yep.
It's so cool. It's one of my favorite parts of the entire film.
And I think it's important to note the stuff that happened to him was really bad.
Oh, it was really, really bad.
Makes historical sense too.
Oh, it's so cool.
And
It's so it's sweet.
I think one of the coolest scenes in the movie.
Oh yeah.
But let me make this clear. I think he's addicted to opiates,
Mhm.
probably. Something to handle, assumedly, pain. And let's put it this way. He was in a lot of pain. There's a reason he got addicted to them. It was bad.
I just think that allowing the character's backstory to be slowly revealed through the aspect of the cult works him into this whole situation so well. And it makes so much sense. And it feels, I don't know, it feels very thematic in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, it acts as a nice little reflection of this other group of religious people, both the people in charge, who are maybe corrupt, and, like, this group of people who are, like, part of this maybe darker thing, but are doing so from a place of hope.
Yeah.
Especially because, if you couldn't tell, he was a missionary and things went bad for him, but, like, he was a missionary with good intentions and
Yeah.
bad things happened to him, and I think that's a decent reflection of kind of what the cult's doing. Obviously, they're not doing missionary work, but they're doing, like, attraction work.
Mm-hmm.
Same kind of spreading the word stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Something we haven't talked about and that I really, really kind of in love with about this film is, yeah, it's a movie about a cult. Yeah, it's a movie about Thomas and Malcolm and everything. But we get to see a lot of, like, other characters living their normal lives and the impact that what they're doing has on the greater, like, entity as a whole. Like, we get tons of time with this character named Jeremy and Fionn and Andrea. And these are all, like, sort of side characters. But because we get so much screen time with them on top of the main characters, there's a lot of interpersonal stuff that happens.
And all that interpersonal stuff is great because right away you know the community this film is set in, and you can look at this interpersonal stuff and go, "Oh, this is so bad.
This is so bad." And it's this overwhelming sense of dread that you know this is not going to end well for anybody, but you cannot help but be invested.
And certain people are so hopeful they're
Oh
going
my
to end
God.
well, and you're just like, "No, of course not." Red flags all around.
Red flags. But the fact that it is such a strong interpersonal piece while also being a gritty, disgusting mess is cool. While also being a folk horror film. Basically, this film tackles a lot of stuff really well, and it all meshes and works.
Yeah, it's a blend of a bunch of different things that I think works really well, but functionally makes it rather hard to nail down as like one specific thing.
True.
Like honestly, I'd go just folk horror and just lob it into that
Yeah.
basket. But you could go like a period drama,
It feels very period drama to me.
kind of a espionage rescue thing, a horror movie, like a traditional horror movie, a cult film. Like there's a lot of stuff you could throw it in, but
I mean, that's why it's 2 hours long. Because they
Yeah.
had a lot of stuff they had to cover.
there's a lot. It might be a 2-watch kind of thing
Yeah.
because there's definitely a little brief lull during the hour mark.
True. At one point, I literally went, "Oh, we're about halfway through the movie," and Ben went, "What?"
I went, what? Yeah, I hadn't seen this in a while, so I was like, oh, it feels like it's almost over.
Same. I
'Cause,
thought it
like,
was almost over.
Functionally speaking, the last hour is not a lot of events,
Mm-hmm.
but they just take time.
Yeah.
That being said, do you have anything else? I think I'm mostly good
I think I'm
without giving
mostly
away like
good, too.
all the film.
And we haven't.
The ending's cool.
The ending is so cool. I like the end of this movie.
It's rad.
The end of this movie is really, really good. Have we talked about cinematography?
Oh,
stuff.
I mean it looks good.
Yeah.
There wasn't any shots where I'm like, oh my god, that shot's so impressive.
There's one, and it's during the thing we talked about.
oh
That's
yeah.
the only one where I go, "Holy fuck, that's incredible."
Yeah, the torture sequence thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple. Again, it's all around decent cinematography. I think that's the one that's really great because that scene's so stressful. But what I was gonna say is like the whole movie is just pretty.
Yeah, because it's nature, right? It's a folk horror film set in England on an island, so there's lots of really good shots of like really mountainy cliffs and stuff. And
Yeah, it's what I said, Wales, and
Yeah.
like all
It's
the
beautiful.
villages are done really well. So I don't know necessarily how important the cinematography is from a technical standpoint, so much as it's like, oh, the film looks good.
I mean, the only scene, like I said, the only scene where I think it's important is this scene that we talked about. So.
Yep. Because they make it very stressful without showing you that much.
Oh, I'm not even
Honestly.
talking about that. I'm talking about the stuff for Thomas's backstory.
Oh,
That.
no, that one's really good.
That
has
is an
You're
incredible
right.
scene.
That does have the best cinematography in it.
Yeah, because you start upside down and then yeah. It's fucking rad.
Okay. I guess recommendations, right?
Sure.
Okay. You want to hit us with your X?
If you want a folk horror film that is less about the ambiance and being creepy and scary and more about how just fucking brutal it is, like this movie's brutal as fuck, and that's probably one of my only like. I'll save that. I'll save what I was about to say because I was gonna go off the rails, Ben. I was gonna go crazy. But if you want a folk horror film that's like brutal and gross and not like necessarily like ambient and spooky, very good for that. If you like any of the actors in this film, Dan Stevens does great. Michael Sheen's really great. All the supporting cast is really good. So if you want to check them out for that, it's great. If you want a period piece set in 1908, while the 1908 aspect is sort of shelved for a more, I would say, early 1800s style like setting because of like the environment, there's still some cool stuff in there from the period, like the dialogue and some of the set pieces that get brought over. It's really cool for that. If you want a like drama, interpersonal drama is sort of what I would go for with this one, because that's a huge aspect of the film, because a lot of the cult aspects are sort of a mystery and it gets revealed slowly. So in the moments between the reveals, it's a lot of interpersonal stuff that then ties back into the cult and does cool stuff and lifts the film up. So if you're interested in that, I'd check it out.
Okay. Right off the bat, if you want a religious horror movie,
Oh, I
I
should have
think
said that. That's
it's
a
a
good one.
great religious horror movie. Not in the same way like The Exorcist is, but kind of in that classical sense of like people are using religion to cause horrifying things. Think what? Spanish Inquisition? I mean, no one expects it. But
shut the fuck up.
whatever. Next, if you want a period piece, set in like early 1900s. And we keep saying 1908. I'm not sure if it's 1908. It could be like 1905.
You just told me 1908.
I don't know.
Liar.
I think I saw it on the Netflix thing. I don't know. Point being, if you want something that feels like it's from there or slightly earlier, maybe 1700s to 1900s is the feel you get from this movie. Check it out. It feels very gothic, honestly. Kind of in the same way that like Frankenstein or Dracula felt, especially when you combine it with folk horror, which is the other really big recommendation for this film. You know, it kind of has that whole gothic folk horror element to it when you get both of those together. And I think that's really unique because a lot of folk horror tends to be set like in the modern day or very firmly in like the 1600s. So getting something that's feels like a mix of those two is
it's interesting.
Unique. And then last but not least, if you kind of want like something a little bit more gory, I know I said this film wasn't very gory, but it is very intense graphically and violently. So if that's kind of your deal, while this isn't like insane, that's not why you should watch this film. It is something to keep a note, like if you're going to start it.
Be prepared.
Be prepared. Good song.
This is a good song. It's not the best villain song though.
Oh, definitely not.
It's Hellfire.
Oh, for Disney movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I know I'm right.
You're probably right. That's completely aside. It's also on Netflix. So, like, if you have Netflix, go check it out. With that being said, you want to give it a rating?
Okay. I'm going to bitch about this film for a second because I'm going to tell you right now I'm not giving it a 5.
Oh, it's not a 5.
It's not a 5, but it's a very, very good movie. I'm not going to give it a 5 solely because I wanted it to be scarier. I wasn't that scared. I was tense, and it's gory and gross, and that got me. But at no point was I like... I wanted the aspect of the cult to be a scarier force for me. That's my big thing. Is like, I'm watching a horror movie. Like, even Cabin Fever scared me more than... You know what I mean? Like, I'm not horrified in the same way I wanted to be. And maybe that's because I came in with bad expectations. But also... There's certain stuff that happens that I go, I should be afraid now, but I'm not because of other stuff going on. Like, there are only a couple of jump scares, and one of them got me pretty good.
I'm glad that there wasn't jump scares in this. I think they would have taken away.
I think they would have too, but I wanted more ambiance, more spooky stuff. Because, like, there's some cool setup in the beginning. They could have played with the fact that it was an unknown entity running this cult for longer and made it more of a creepy, scary thing, and then given us more of a reveal and a twist and a turn.
That's fair. I think what you're trying to say is you want more tension throughout, like to be on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, that's really what I'm looking for.
The film has a lot of downtime where there's not a lot of violence, which is fine. Like I don't think this is supposed to be like a quote unquote traditionally scary film.
Yeah.
But when you have a film that's slower like this, you want to kind of be on the edge of your seat as the film slowly ramps you up, like tension-wise.
Yeah, because if you're not, there's like a lull and it doesn't feel good. And while the interpersonal stuff sort of tries to pull you through that, and it does most of the time.
Especially because you know it's going to end poorly.
Yes.
It's not like, oh no, when's it going to happen?
Yeah. And that's really my only big complaint with the film. Other than that, I really like the movie. I think it's very, very good. So I think I'm going to give it like 4.5. 4.5.
Okay.
That's my only big thing.
I think I'm not going to give it a 5. For similar reasons in that, like, I don't think it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
The movie tends to be fairly slow, which I think works for what the film's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think you're right about, like, a lack of tension the film has. You know, there is scenes where everything feels peaceful, and you know things are going to end badly. But I sometimes wish there was more tension, especially in the scenes that are very overtly, like, related to the supernatural.
Yeah, man.
There's just not enough, like, oh, is something going to happen here?
There's not enough punch with the scary shit.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I don't want jump scares. I think those would have ruined it. But I do want a little bit more tension in my horror film. with that being said, I think the big reason I'm going to take off some points here, and this might be saying you disagree with me here, but I would have liked this film to be more violent.
More violent.
More violent. Because, look, I got into it, but I don't think they show a lot.
That's fair.
They imply a lot, but they do not show. And I wish they had shown some of the stuff they implied because, sometimes, whatever, you have to get stuff past the MPAA.
Mm-hmm.
But this is on Netflix.
Yeah.
This is a Netflix exclusive. They can get as fucked up as they want.
True.
And they didn't. And to be honest, I feel like it was less for censorship reasons and more for, like, budgetary stuff and, like, how hard stuff is to shoot sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I wish they had just taken that extra leap into, like, really showing me some stuff.
No, that's totally fair.
There's, like, the one scene that Bob couldn't handle, which I'll just say is, like, the torture death scene,
Mm-hmm.
where they show right at the beginning and then they don't show anything.
If it had shown the whole thing, I would have thrown up.
But
I
I
would have puked.
But I wish they had, because they could have gotten away with it.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's fair.
Or, for instance, there's a couple, like, fight scenes where people get injured,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels really intense because each wound is, like, going to really hurt, but they feel like nothing because it's just, like, a red mark appears.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish when people got, like, torn into, we got to see, like, I don't know,
More.
some flesh or, like, some muscle or guts fall
Mhm.
out, really to up the impact of everything. And also because, like, this film's able to get away with that. And I think if you have that benefit, why not lean into it?
That's fair. I hadn't really thought about that. That's a good point.
With that being said, they do the gore really well without using too much CGI.
Mm-hmm.
The CGI they use, well, you can tell it's CGI, was very impressive.
Yeah. Not bad.
That being said, I guess we're going to go to outtakes.
Did you give it a number?
Oh, 4. I think, I don't know. It's a 4.
I was listening and I was like waiting for you to say the number.
By the way, I forgot to say this in my recommendations. We turned on the film and Bob was like, this reminds me of an H.P. Lovecraft thing.
Oh yeah, I did say that.
It does a lot. I don't know if anyone's like a big fan of H.P. Lovecraft stuff. I know we've covered Lovecraft on the podcast before, which I used as a opportunity to do some other fun stuff with
Mhm.
actors. But the big thing I want to note is if you like him, it kind of gives Shadow over Innsmouth vibes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which, if you don't know, they're going to like a small community and there's some culty shenanigans happening there.
Shenanigans is not the word I would use.
Shenanigans! There's also, so it's not, I think, a Lovecraft story. I think it's written by like another author in the same universe. I think it's called Green God.
Hmm.
I think that's the character featured in it. I think it's the Horror Under Warrendown. I think that's the story it's featured in. It's another like Lovecraft related story with like a plant-based deity kind of thing.
Okay.
Has similar vibes to that. That sounds interesting. Maybe check this film out. That being said, outtakes?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, see you guys in a minute. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the outtake section for this episode of Beware the Board. I hope you're enjoying our review of Apostle so far. I really like this movie. I think it's super, super well made, very interesting, and very, very disgusting. But without further ado, let's get into the outtakes. This first clip is my reaction to Ben telling me what year the film is set in. Okay, not what I thought. What is...
It's a rescue mission.
No, but what year are we in?
1908.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell you until we started.
No, but that's so cool, Ben.
This is a period piece. A cult period piece.
And that's rad. This next clip is our reaction to what the jars the town keeps are used for. And maybe we take it a little far with this one. What the fuck?
Bloodletting.
Oh, is this what the receptacles are for? That's... God. Stop. Yeah, I don't like this. This is something I'm not okay with.
That was a lot of blood, too.
That was a lot of blood.
Now bleed the child.
Don't bleed the child, Ben. Leave the child out of this.
They need to fill the jar.
I don't give a fuck.
All I'm saying, it's better than the times of the internet with jars that need to be filled.
You're so right. At least there's nothing weird in the bottom of those
I was
jars.
going to say, I don't think I've seen a single horse on this island.
What do you think they did with them? They have really, really big jars.
They left it on the radiator.
No! This next clip is me making a very good observation and the movie interrupting me.
Oh, some of those
The varying levels of blood in those jars.
are concerningly much more fill.
But assumedly there's more than one person in that room,
Yeah.
right? And it's not just one guy bleeding to death in there.
That's still a lot of blood.
Also, they don't have any orange juice or cookies for... Okay.
What were you going to say?
It's
Stop
fine.
talking.
It's fine. There's not some creepy bitch behind the... Oh, she's gone.
She came
Okay.
for the orange juice cookies.
That's what I'm saying. There's no orange juice or cookies for after they get blood. Why is nobody passing out? This next clip is our reaction to one of the creepiest parts of the entire film, in my opinion.
All right. Now
Oh, she knows.
just bleed in.
She knows.
Just bleed into the jar. That's all you got to do. Just put a little,
Oh, that's so fucking
a couple
cool.
drops. I don't think she knows. There's just a big spike on that key because it's fucking stupid looking.
No, that's Ben. That's what I'm saying. She knows.
The key's got a shark fin.
Oh, the blood also knows. What the fuck?
Someone's thirsty.
I'm not thirsty.
You good, Bob?
No, I am not okay.
I told you someone was thirsty.
Ben,
You
that did, I didn't expect there to be a fucking gremlin in the floorboard sucking up the blood.
You didn't believe me.
Holy shit.
You should know that I would never lie to you.
You've lied to me so many times.
No, I've just let you lie to yourself.
This next clip is our reaction to one of the more brutal deaths early on in the film. Oh! Oh! Let's go! Let's go! Holy shit. Ow! Oh! That is one of the most brutal things. Holy shit, that's awesome.
Looks pretty good.
This next clip is my reaction to the scariest scene in the entire film. It oxidizes it. Oh, is it? There's a fucking dead chicken in here. That's fucking terrible.
I believe it's not dead because it's moving.
You're right. It was a dead chicken until he touched it.
No, I think it was a live chicken that is now
Underwater?
been sucked under the water by something.
In the blood.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, it's the ghost!
It's a lady.
No. No, Ben. I can't. Whoa. Oh, my God. No, this movie is so scary.
She's just lonely, Bob.
She's not lonely.
She wants a
She's
hug.
so scared.
She's like, you came to take a bath with me, right?
That's so fucking freaky, bro. No. No. This next clip is our reaction to a very, very, very brutal fight scene. Oh my god. God damn.
You're so much weaker than he is, though.
Yeah. Yeah, the mass differential is insane.
But you are going ham with that
I was
razor
about to say,
blade.
you're slicing the fuck out of him, homie.
I mean, then again, razor blades are sharp.
They are really sharp, especially those single blade razors like that.
Well, because you have to sharpen them so much.
Yeah.
All you have to do is get one good slit, man. Just do it.
Oh, he's trying so hard.
I'll just jab it in.
Oh!
You don't even have to slice his neck.
Ah! Yikes!
I think you mean yowza.
This next clip is our reaction to probably the most fucked up scene in the entire movie. I will give a small gag warning for this one. Yeah, I'm sure it's only a little. I'm sure it's not. No. No way. No, Ben. I swear to God. No.
Oh, did you
no,
just realize
Ben,
what's going to
Ben,
happen?
Ben, please stop. Please stop. Please. Please. No, I'm serious. Please don't show it. No. Please stop. No, stop. Quit. Quit.
That wasn't me.
Okay. Oh, he stopped. Why'd he stop? You just kept going.
Well, you see, there's two handles.
This next clip is our reaction to one of the most inhumane things I've ever seen done to a person. Okay, we're here now. Oh, he's in a torture chamber. Oh my god, he's got fucking hooks in his legs! What the fuck, yo? Hooks in his hands, hooks in his legs. Call this man a fish. I don't like this, Ben. Let's move. Oh, he's gonna get cranked. Is the blood guy doing this? The blood guy's doing the cranking. Oh, they left him to the blood guy. I got it. Oh, he's getting pulled into the fucking meat grinder.
The crusher.
This has to be one of the most brutal things.
Well, except for that other thing we just saw.
Well,
like 10 minutes ago.
Nah, this is worse. I'll admit, I think this is far worse.
Well, if you're alive and this happens, yeah.
Yeah.
It's made for dead bodies, so. How do you feel about your fingers going into that first?
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, come on, man. This guy, stop! 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 Come on, blood guy. You don't have to do this. This is so... Oh, my God! Okay, I didn't think he was actually going to get munched up a bit. How far is it going to go? Oh, he lived. Well, he's not okay.
He's down 3.
He's not a little bit, but blood guy's still. Oh. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the outtakes. Do we have any announcements, Ben?
Nothing new. Same things as we've been having. Eventually, we'll come out with that unholy trinity.
Someday.
We've had issues recording extra episodes in the last 3 weeks, so
Yeah.
we'll get on top of it. But next week we have on the same day. I don't know if we'll release them on the same day, but
I'm going to try to do so.
we're gonna have a Father's Day and Bob's birthday episode. So check those out.
Yeah.
Whenever
It'll
that
be
is.
on the 16th, which is Father's Day.
Of what?
June.
Oh, it's June right now,
Yeah, it's June 1st.
so it's not next month. It's
Yeah, you said next week. It is next week, though.
is it next week?
Yeah, it's next week.
Oh, damn.
This should come out. Hold on. Let me double check. I just looked at my calendar and now I feel stupid. This will come out the 7th. Or no. I'm lying. It's 2 weeks from today. 2
Oh
weeks
well,
from release.
whatever.
Yeah.
It'll come out later this month.
Yeah.
Check
So
those out.
it'll be cool.
Those are gonna be cool. Probably. I don't know.
We haven't recorded
I haven't picked out the Father's Day episode yet.
That's crazy.
We picked out Bob's episode.
Well, I picked that out over a year ago.
I think Bob told you.
we talked about it.
It's the Blob from like 1980
1980.
something.
5 or something? 86?
I think it might be 89. Who knows?
I don't remember.
I don't know. Aside from that, usual spiel. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you're checking us out there on those platforms or any other, podcast platforms, please try to give us a rating or a quick review. That really helps us get recommended to other people on those sites.
Mhm.
Additionally, you could recommend us to a friend if you think they're going to like the podcast. That's really nice. That's probably the best way to get new viewers.
Yeah.
So if you do that, thanks for helping us out.
Yeah.
We're also on YouTube, which, while not the best place for audio-only content, is pretty nice for us to gauge viewer engagement. Like we said earlier, we've been getting a lot of traffic recently for us,
Mhm.
and that's really cool because
It
it
is
makes
really
us
cool.
feel nice about this shitty little thing we're doing. So thank you. With that being said, YouTube does have some cool tools that you guys might like to use. There's a bell button that can notify you whenever we post something new, especially if it's not on our usual Thursday schedule, like a holiday episode or a random trilogy of movies we've been waiting a year to produce. There's also a search button, which lets you search for key terms in all our videos, which means you can look up stuff like movie titles, because we've covered
A lot of movies.
at least over 150 by now, right?
I don't think we're at 150 yet. We're
Because
close.
we have like over 160 videos, and we haven't had 10 wrap-ups, so
I think the everything playlist has like 140 something videos in it, and everything is in there.
I don't know. We're close. Whatever. Kind of hard to know what we've done, so look up movies that way.
True.
See if you're interested in anything. I would recommend, though, you start with a season, especially a newer season, because
Yeah.
those are better.
Well, especially if like you are interested in a category specifically, you could just go and watch, the episodes from that category in that season.
Yeah. With that being said, the biggest thing with YouTube is it's one of the two major places to communicate with us at. If you have something very specific about an episode you want to talk to us about, you can do that in the comment section of that video, or you can go over to Twitter at BewareTheBoard and maybe sneak into Bob's DMs. Switch out your pass with someone else so he doesn't know who he's talking to. I guess switch out your accounts and try to ingratiate yourself with Bob. Maybe save his life
Oh,
from an unidentified assassin.
Oh, how many references in one episode, Ben? You're pushing the limit here, brother.
Do it for King and Country.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ, that's a deep cut. We didn't even talk about that. That is one of the coolest scenes in the whole film, by the way.
Well, it just really stabs right through you.
Multiple
levels.
times. Like Ben said, check us out on Twitter at BewareTheBoard. It's where we post updates about the show, information about the show. Basically, if there's anything you want to know about the show, it goes on our Twitter. On Mondays, I post a spoiler post for that Friday's episode, which is a hidden movie cover that you can reveal, so you can watch the film before we do. So whenever you listen to the episodes, you don't get any spoilers or being vague about stuff, you know what we're talking about. Then on Fridays, or whatever other day an episode goes live, I always post a link to the episode there. So if you've ever missed an upload or want to know something up, there's always a link on our Twitter. Last thing, we make short form content sometimes, if I ever have the time.
Well, Bob makes short form content.
Sorry, yeah, I make it. Ben
Months ago.
doesn't. Ben looks at them, I guess. I send them to Ben before I post them. Make sure they're
I
okay.
do the approval work.
That's true.
I am the construction foreman of this
Yeah.
short form relationship.
Yeah. So if you like short form content and enjoy the show, check us out at BewareTheBoard on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts. I haven't put one up. I haven't had time to make any. I'm sorry. Hopefully I can get that fixed soon. But yeah, I think that's it, Ben.
All right. Well, we'll check you guys out next time.
Yeah. Well, see you guys next time.